Hello and welcome to your weekly water report with me, Carel. Hello and welcome back to your weekly water report, where we talk about anything and everything we could find regarding Newcastle's water reticulation system, and also, which is big news this week, water quality. It was a sad day when Friday the 5th of December came and I was actually out of office getting reports of water that's contaminated, and the municipality publishing a notice of the water not meeting SANS 241 standard for Newcastle residents, specifically in Madadeni area. Now, why this is so sad is not because we want to try and run a business, but the news is sad because we at INTEGRIPURE believe that each South African deserves the right to easy access of healthy and safe drinking water. In this case, South Africans were left even without the access to safe drinking water, where the publish noted that the water needed to be boiled before consumption as it did not meet SANS 241 standards. Taking everything into consideration, when this report came out, the water test had to be done. Secondly, that report needed to be analyzed, and thereafter there was only a report sent to the municipality, who then informed the community of the water not meeting standards. That's the process, how I understand it. So how many families, how many parts of the community, how many people consumed this water that did not meet standards before the report actually came out? And also, how long did it take for that report to get to every Newcastle resident needing to know this information, that they should be boiling the water before consuming? And this is only a small glimpse showing us of why waterborne illnesses is the leading cause of death for children under the age of 5 in Africa and in South Africa. Now, this is because if you do not drink water, you are going to die. But in this case, you might be drinking water and you're still going to die. So it is a massive concern, and it gives us a small glimpse of why waterborne illnesses can be the leading cause of death in children under 5. Because it's a human right, the Human Rights Commission does note that a South African cannot be without safe drinking water meeting SANS 241 standards for longer than 7 days a year. If my calculations are correct, a massive chunk of that 7 days is already gone by just this one contamination break. And by the looks of the infrastructure and by the looks of the budget regarding this infrastructure, we are going to be having more of these 7 days accumulating. Also good to understand, as we've noted in our documentary, we took a route all the way from the abstraction of Chelmsford Dam to the treatment plant, the reticulation, the reservoirs, etc. We believe that there are competent people working at the Tukela treatment plant, and the water is meeting the necessary standards. Maybe their hands are a bit too short here and there because they can only work with what they have, and thus we also know that they are not making enough water for everybody to get what they actually need. However, they are competent people, but the problem isn't the plant itself. It is the water reticulation from the plant. The water is treated, it's tested, it's safe. Now, it goes through a very old, aged infrastructure before it gets to your home, and before it gets to that home in Madadeni where this contamination was placed. And this is where the contamination happens. This is where the things happen, because if you have a water pipe pushing through clean water, even with a tiny crack, if the pressure drops in that pipe, which is so often a thing, especially in Madadeni, Newcastle East, water that is on the outside would seep into that crack. It's saturated water, which is most probably contaminated with all the sewage breaks. So this water then is tested afterwards here and there, hopefully frequently enough, and then this contamination is found. This is why we say point of use filtration, and this is the hill I will die on, is the best way to keep you and your family safe, because there's no reticulation process where this water can be recontaminated. Whatever the quality of water coming to your house is, if you put it through that filter right on that spot, you can confidently say this water is safe. With most water filtration systems, safe and healthy if you have an INTEGRIPURE water filtration system. So that is the best way to keep you and your family safe. But all that set aside, we couldn't find any news of any more burst pipes. However, we did see some good news of the municipality being in process of replacing some sewage pipes in Albert Wessel Street, close to the abattoir. And this is also part of, if this failing infrastructure is looked at, we will have less contaminated water. As we've noted in other weekly water reports, there are many boreholes. I've spoken to other people also doing water filtration and water testing around this area, and they've confirmed that the number of E. coli in boreholes has escalated. So with these types of upgrades on pipes in place, there will be less of this. But however, it's good to note that the contamination is already there and will take some time for that to be resolved. Also, dam levels sitting at 81.2%. So the bulk water, that's not a problem for us. It's just a abstraction. The plant, they're getting enough water, they're just struggling to get enough water out. As for what INTEGRIPURE has been doing, we've been out and about servicing water drinking systems, installing one here and there. Actually, just last week I had to drive up to Bronkhorstspruit in Gauteng to go and service a water bottling plant over there, and that's the first time we really drove that far. But it's good to note that people are seeing the name, seeing the expertise, and trusting us to also keep other people safe.